And I didn't have the money for a ticket outside the military, so I joined the army to go over to Germany and chase women, to be quite specific. And I did quite often. No, I was raised in a military household, and I did like women, and they like uniforms. So that was that. Yeah, that's about my main motivation, I think.
At least he's honest.
Hey, you know,
I love that. That's very fun. You can't beat honesty, I promise.
right.
I am curious, especially I have a service animal. His name is Dexter. So tell me about your like when you received your first service dog, how it kind of impacted you, and a little bit of that story.
Sure. Actually, that's a very personal story. I'm sitting on a ranch right now in Mountain Home, Texas, and it's actually home to Dancing Dog Kennels and a dog rescue that's been in the family for a couple generations. Not my family, their family. I got my first service dog here. His name was Rudy, and he was a fawn pit bull. And I did not want him. I did not want anything to do with service dogs. I came from a dog background, but no, I was pressured, and I'm not going to say I was forced, but it was implied that at that time I was really out of control, and I needed that dog. And if I didn't at least come up and check out the program, then yeah, there were going to be other actions back then. So I came up to Mountain Home, and I met this sweet little lady named Diane and her just amazing husband Jeff. And to be quite honest with you, I was hateful, I was mean. I really was to this really nice people that were going to give me a service dog, right, and train me to handle it. And I won't repeat on the show what I said to them that day, but it was pretty much give me the dog or I'm gonna leave. I met my obligation. They gave me the dog, and a couple years later, after that dog changed my life and saved my life, I wanted to die. You got to understand, I did not want to be here. And well, I decided I was going to train service dogs, so they also gave me Crowley, the one everybody sees on the internet. And if y'all don't mind, I mean, it's pretty amazing actually. Recently, back in November, Jeff unfortunately passed away of Alzheimer's and some other stuff. He's a very old man, and Diane is still here, and she pursued me for a while, but recently I accepted to take over the ranch and keep it in there, put it in a trust so it can never be broken up and preserve it. So it's really it's a full. Yeah, I'm having a hard time too. It's a full circle story. I mean, these people saved my life, and they didn't know it when they did it. But the things we've done with these grassroots, service dog organizations and everything we've done all these years, they had no idea. Honestly, I never told them until she saw me on the news in the crash. She had no idea what I was doing with service dogs because they're very humble, private people. So yeah, it's a God thing. I got asked to come back to the place where it saved my life. I never expected this, and this is going to be my home. This is where I'm going to stay forever. So, yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. And before we get too deep into your interview, I did want to play the video about a little bit about you. So we're going to go ahead and play that now.
I shouldn't still be here after everything that came with it. Some things follow you home. They show up and it gets quiet. And there were years I didn't want to live. I just didn't want it to look like I quit. So I stayed moving, and I called it purpose, even when it was just survival. Then a dog showed up. Quiet, solid, always there. Something I could brace against when my head started running. And that turned into something bigger. Training dogs for people like me. For people carrying things they never said out loud. Then Billy Dayock, a man I never met, but now carry a piece of with me. And one night, everything broke again. A wreck, metal, blood. Thought I lost everything in that moment. But I didn't. And I quit trying to explain why. I just know I'm still here, and now I fight different in my head, in my body.
This is mine.
And I took control back. I dropped over 70 pounds, got my strength back, got my life back. So if you're carrying something mentally and physically, if you're barely holding it together, we're good. that means you're still in it. And if you're still in the fight, you're not done yet.
Wow.
It's been a journey for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, it's still seeing those pictures of the crash. It's still just surreal what happened. So,
And how long has it been since the crash? About a year?
that was November 26, 24, around 5 p.m.
Wow.
So I've been, so that happened. And I mean, just for the people watching, what happened was, if you don't mind, we were coming back from New Jersey, and actually Lincoln was donated by the Dayock family in honor of Billy Dayock, a 28-year-old Army medic that took his own life. They wanted his name to never go away, and they didn't want his life to mean nothing or his death to mean nothing. So they had asked me to come to New Jersey and get Lincoln. Well, we were working in Georgia. We pay for these dogs historically by going into hurricanes or after hurricanes, and we're contractors, and that's why we weren't a nonprofit. We just decided we could finance it ourselves. And so that's what we did all those years. So we were in just above Valdosta in Hybris, and we went up to New Jersey, got Lincoln. And there was a good part of this story, getting Lincoln, of course, the Dayock family. And we actually got to see Michelle Hoffman from NBC. They had done an episode of Veterans in Focus on us, and she won an Emmy Award. And of course, we're driving down the road, like teenagers screaming and yelling to see ourselves up there. And we got back to Georgia, spent a couple of days, and made a last-minute decision to go home for Thanksgiving. And there was a little bit of ice, so we wanted to get the RV back to Texas. Well, we stopped outside of Lake Charles after we hit a bump and a tire sensor went off with our 40-foot RV and my Toyota Tundra. And we were 100 yards almost off of I-10 in an emergency area. And we were checking the tire, me and my buddy's son, Glenn, and the dogs were in the truck. And, we heard horns. And I looked over and something was coming. So, we just, look, a mobile home came off a semi-truck at 75 miles an hour. It steered through rush hour traffic, and they said it was like it was hunting something. It didn't hit anybody, and it came off I-10 in the exact spot we were, and it impacted right where we were squatted down, and it blew us back away. Of course, the mobile home 80-footer destroyed the camper, and the dogs were in the truck, and the Toyota came up, flipped back through the side of the mobile home. It blew us back towards the swamp, and we woke up. We were only out, I would assume, a short time. It's okay, buddy. I'm all right. Sorry, he's alerting on me. And I'm okay, buddy.
Oh, Lincoln.
Yeah, he's a goofball. But, Glenn was passed out. I shook him awake. I was only thinking of the dogs, to be honest with you. I thought my dogs were dead. I thought Glenn was dead for a second, but he woke up, and we got to the truck and forced the door open. And I didn't even know it was a house that hit us. I thought it was a diesel. They had to tell me later. I was a little bit shocked, but we ripped the doors open and the dogs were alive. The airbags in that Toyota. Yeah, you ever want to drive a safe vehicle? That Toyota Tundra took a hit by a 75-mile-an-hour home, and they only had a couple little cuts on them. And people came, firefighters, ambulance. It was a rough day. We had done several states. That was our home. While we traveled with the dogs, and we lost quite a bit that day, but we didn't lose our lives. And something else we didn't lose before I left New Jersey. And sorry, I get a little bit. Stephanie Romeo, which is Billy Dayock's sister, that started this whole thing with Lincoln. She actually gave me this. She handed me this as I was going out the door. That's a piece of jewelry made of Billy, is what that is. And she said to keep it with her or with that pup anywhere he went. Well, I historically lose things. I found my phone in the freezer. I'm that guy. So, we got back from New Jersey. I was like, look, I'm gonna put this with my parents' wedding bands, a little box I kept beside my bed. And look, that all got destroyed. I mean, we got some things out of the crash, this and that, but they took my truck out in 6 dumpsters, from what I hear. And that charm was gone. We know where it was because I mean, I even told Glenn, look, you got to tell me when we get back to Texas where I put Billy. 2 days later, I was in a little motel outside. Got gathering myself, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And one of my family members actually dug through a set of blue jeans and pulled this out of a pocket. So, yeah, that's a real story. And Billy does not leave us ever. Yeah. So this whole thing, we spent 1.5 years, multiple surgeries, fused my spine through my neck, my lower back, rebuilt my right shoulder, put my bicep back on, worked on my wrist. I've got a bit of value now with all the titanium in me. So, you know, my value went up a little bit, but you know, I lost while this was all going on.
I bet you set off the alerts in the airport too.
Me too.
Yeah, I might. You know, there's a running joke in my family. My daughter is actually tomorrow night, and I got to give my daughter a call out. She's starring as the witch in The Wizard of Oz in the Bernie High School production. But the ironic part is what happened to the witch in The Wizard of the Oz, y'all? Well, she got hit by a house, right?
Yes.
Right. God's got a sense of humor, but yeah, it's the running joke in the family is only the wicked witch. Me and Glenn got hit, but she died, so we win.
Oh,
That's nice.
that's an amazing story, and we're going to actually show the video in a little while as well. Can you please tell us a little bit about Billy Dayock and how Lincoln came to you, and why it was so important for your mission?
You know, here's the thing. You know, we all like to say slogans, and I don't mean to insult anybody. 22 a day, which now we say 17 a day, right? The truth of the matter is this problem that we talk about, people taking their lives, of course, not just veterans, right? It's everybody. We just happen to be a huge demographic that's very easy to point at, right? The biggest problem is we don't understand the problem. And you know, we talk about treatments and they're all great. We talk about all these things we can do, but we do not talk about the problem and the things we simply don't talk about, right? So when I started writing about all this stuff, I made a decision that I was going to tell it all. You know, this wasn't going to be war stories or what happened at the chow hall or my buddy did this. No, we were going to talk about afterward, and we were going to talk about what really kills us, right? And to answer your question about Billy, you know, Billy came from a very hard life to start with, like most of us do. The stats, I looked him up again last night. I believe it's 80 to 85% of the people that enter armed service, police, firefighting, all of those, they come from very upbringing in one way or another. You know, I myself, military family with all, people get upset when I say this, but multi-generational families, we have all the bad things. We have the alcoholism, the drug addiction, the abuse, the PTSD. I mean, it's all there. So when you're raised in a state of fight or flight to start with, right? Because that's what gets us there. And then you go in the military, and I actually agree 100% with what the military does because it keeps us alive. They yell, they scream. That's the point. So when something bad happens, you're ready, right? We all know that. I think in not all cases, but a lot of cases, the military magnifies and enhances what a lot of people already have. And then when they get out, they've been part of a collective, right? We strip their identity, right? Army of one. Then when we get out, you hear these statements. I feel alone in a crowd of 5,000 people. Well, of course you do, right? You're not used to that anymore, right? So Billy came home from the military. Billy was not a combat vet. He was not. He was a soldier, like many of us, right? He wasn't an Army Ranger. He wasn't a Navy SEAL. He was just a guy that loved dogs, loved his family, had a hard life. Military, went over to Korea, messed him up a little bit. He comes home. He was 2 days away from seeing the VA and get some help. Guys, head off. His mom comes home. I'll never forget this story. I'll never forget sitting in that room because the agreement was I could ask the Dayocks anything I wanted to, and they all showed up. I got to ask those people things you would never want to ask another human being. about what did you do? What happened? Life took care of the rest of it for Billy when he got home, right? He hung around his family. He was surrounded by friends. Even with that, it wasn't enough. His mom comes home one day, and she comes to her kitchen table, and there's a chair missing. She walks out on their little farm in New Jersey and finds her son hanging in his favorite oak tree where he used to go for his quiet time. And that's how Billy Dayock took his own life. And I'm going to tell you something. That's a very common story. It's not even unique, is the thing. There's no Rambo story. There's no Purple Heart, right? There's just a kid that just didn't know what to do, and he was totally lost. And he finally had made that ultimate choice. And I think of Billy a lot because I see myself in Billy, and I've met thousands of other Billies, right? Men and women in and out of armed services. And so when Stephanie asked me to carry Billy's name, yeah. And then with what happened, yeah. So that's our mission, right? Guys like Billy, women like Billy, all of us. And I mean that when I say it's not just vets. You hear people say that a lot. But what I found is, I've been writing and talking to people all over the world for years. It blew my mind when I started getting messages from Korea and Australia, and New Zealand, and just on and on and on. And what I found was it didn't matter what religion you were. It didn't even matter if you were brought up in the Middle East in the Muslim religion or the Himalayas or wherever, America. Trauma is trauma is trauma is trauma. PTSD and these things, we label PTSD, CPTSD, all these things. At the end of the day, humans are not as unique as we think we are. We're really not. And the commonality between this trauma, it really could build a bridge to a lot of things for people, but we've got to start talking about it. We got to say the hard things. The most common messages I get in person, on the phone, and I take a lot of phone calls, especially late at night from people. I think I'm up to I do about 45 phone calls between 11 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning, 7 days a week is about what I get throughout the week. And a lot of it's from wives or moms or spouse or whoever. And they're like, I don't hate them anymore. Get it. I didn't understand. Right. So that's what we've all got to do. And that's really a long answer for your question is service dogs. Yeah, we want to give them to the world, right? I love dogs. Everybody loves dogs. But really the missions and the understanding of what all of us go through, especially the forgotten ones, right? And look, I respect the special forces. I work with some of those guys. We all work with some of those people at one time in the military. I wasn't anything special. And they are elite. And I love that they come out as our figureheads. In fact, I've got one coming to Texas soon to train me how to do veteran retreats on this ranch. I'm not going to say his name, but I promise y'all know who he is from SEAL Team 6, right? But all right. So I love those guys. But to be honest, I want to hear more from female veterans. I want to hear more from the specialist that was in the motor pool that's struggling now at home, right? Right. Those are the people that I want to get a hold of me. All of them, of course. But, and there's a lot of shame in that with people, especially with people that didn't deploy. I hear that too a lot. They don't want to talk, or they don't want to get help, or they feel undeserving because they weren't Rambo, right? Yeah. And so there's so much to this, and the VA is not the problem. The VA has got a 5-pound sack to put 30 million pounds in, right? They've never been supported, right? So, and of course, we all beat them in the head too, right? Just a little bit.
A lot of it.
I've never blown up at someone at the VA this week. Yeah.
I was like, I read your review of me recently.
Yeah, no, not at all. Wait.
Right, not as weird.
Never mind.
I'm a whole problem when I'm all the way mad.
Right. And the biggest thing, the biggest thing to all this is, it's not just the mental part of it that we got to fix. We all focus on that, right? Big time. But it's the physical part too. Mm-hmm. We live in pain, and if we can't fix that, how do you get this clear? I was almost. If you look at that video and you see that giant head I had, I was when it happened, I was almost 400 pounds at one time. Before the wreck, I was topping 3 something. I'm currently 187. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's health and it's mental, and it changed my life. So, but yeah, Billy, that one always shakes me. Love telling his story. I talk about him all the time, and I just always have a hard time with that one. So,
Absolutely. And understandable.
right.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much for sharing with us. I mean, because the insights, like you mentioned, you've hit such a nerve, even just with me, because I feel 100% what you're saying.
Right.
And so I do want to ask though about Crawley and Lincoln. I
My
see
favorite
that they have
subject.
their social media, but tell me what
They
they're like in
do.
real life. So what's the difference? What's the social media dog and the at home?
Nope, it's the same. No, Lincoln really is a disaster. He's very, very smart, but I mean, he's only a puppy and he's over 100 pounds. He's a triple XL or double XL, whatever he is, pit bull, and he will grow for the next four. I mean, 3 more years, I think.
It's basically a small horse now.
Yeah, I mean, he's everything that I write about, and I really do. I spend most of my time unraveling what Lincoln does between slaughter and fur, but he's the most loving dog. Crowley is different. Crowley is a very loving dog. Crowley's been around a long time. I mean, Crowley's been in hurricanes. He's lived on Marine Corps rifle ranges in North Carolina over at Flatlands, and Crowley is a little bit of a troublemaker. He does. Troublemaker, and he's aloof, and I think he knows how famous he is, you know?
Oh, he's got that whole mentality. Nice.
Yeah, very, very much so. And I know for a fact.
Totally
understand. Yeah, and if you've read my writing, Crowley teases me a lot and says things like, I'm the reason sleeping bags have instructions. And I believe he believes that, and that I'm his service human. I mean, he's not carrying my poop around in a bag, right?
You can only train them to do that.
Right. I mean,
that's what I say about Dexter too, because they don't understand.
Right. I mean, I don't think I have a service dog. I became a service human. Those stories are true. Yeah, that's not fiction.
I love that.
Yes.
But honestly, I started writing
so true,
because, I guess it was a bravery thing too, because I exposed myself, right, by all the things I talked about. But I just decided that pit bulls and vets, right? When I got my first one, and I met Rudy, and I started looking how bad the pit bull got treated. I mean, we find them on the side of the road, and they're broken, and they're bloody, and they're beaten, and they're scared, and they're pissed off, and they're probably going to hurt somebody. Well, that sounded like a veteran to me. And then meeting Rudy, and then I was like, this all makes sense. So I started writing through Crowley from his perspective, because, I mean, it was like wrapping bad medicine in honey, right? And honestly, I'll be honest, I was horrible at grammar when I started. I used to make jokes like, well, Thoreau wrote like he talked, yeah, but he knew how commas were used, and the writing was great, but I mean, you had to really, really work your way through it. But the first story we ever wrote was a comparison of Crowley talking to pit bulls to vets, and he said stuff like, "I hang out with them because they smell like rotten meat and old socks," and I won't say the word, but they have cool bees that hang out with them. He's a dog, and and of course he teased me and all this stuff. But then it went into a comparison of veteran suicide, right? And everybody's like, "Wow," I honestly didn't think anybody even read it. I didn't, and I kept writing. Yeah, no. I was like, I was just throwing.
It's not just me that's not read my own works. I feel better now.
I mean, and my daughter Ashley, she kept telling me, people are following you, right? I'm like, I'm looking over my shoulder. What are you talking about?
Where?
Yeah, I mean, it was years later before I even realized I was paying attention, right? And then, I mean, Fox News found me once, and then of course Michelle found me, Veterans in Focus, and yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy ride. I mean, it just keeps all the attention. I may seem comfortable with it, but I'm actually a very private person. I like this ranch. I like my RV, but it's to be honest with you, I tried to kill myself for better than 30 years, and I just didn't want my family to know that's what I was doing. I drove into I've been in every major hurricane, many times. I've been thrown by tornadoes. I lost a truck in the Cape Fear River after Hurricane Florence, and I shouldn't have taken that truck in that river. But I literally was trying to die. I just didn't want my family to see it that way. So I gave it hell. Trust me, I gave it hell. And when the wreck happened, I mean, that was one of the few times I was innocently minding my own business. And the way I look at it is God threw a house at me to get my attention. And he got it. I mean, he got it. I've been a person of faith for a long time. Failed in it many times too, like most people. Folded even on it a few times instead of just saying what I believe. But I will tell you this. Since the crash has happened, there's been so many things that I can't explain. Even Brandy and I actually ran into each other years ago, crossed paths with another veterans organization in Louisiana. You want to tell that story, Brandy, later?
Yeah, let's tell that story. I was just thinking about it.
I mean, I'm just saying, 2 Live Crew, prize fighting, Captain America dresses Wonder Woman. Yeah,
oh, man.
Brandy.
So this is one of our stories in the Yes I'm the Veteran podcast's lore. This is well before Miss Amelia and Miss Pacifica came on board to get them off of any liability. But basically, after the mission and they came on our show because of the fact that I was at I'm trying to think politically. I was at another veteran podcast station. We'll call it Wiener Talk. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. And that's where I was. And I was Medic Maven. And, they had never had a professional fighter on their show before or on their network. And for me, I was quite used to it because I had interviewed UFC legends when I was at Veteran Radio Syndicate. And so Wiener Talk basically freaked out. They basically poached him while he was literally still on air with me. And they, insisted that they were somehow part of this giant fight card that Ricky Foles and After the Mission was holding in South Louisiana, and in Houma,
I mean, this is Houma. This is on the bayous. I mean,
real the bayous. The roads go like this, and they bounce.
Right. They actually swim swamp people right up in Lappaville, right up the road for this, right? Love that area. People are great.
Yeah, I think I would go with people next time.
Absolutely, it's definitely a chaperoned event.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you that. And so we were doing this event, and 2 Live Crew was doing the walkout for the main event, which was Ricky Foles and his opponent. And there was 3 veterans that were given their first MMA sanctioned fight, which is quite political to even get one singular fight. So to get on the board, it meant so much to so many veterans that were a part of this fight card. And the woman that was part of it, literally, she demolished her competition with her daughter. She did the walkout and everything. Well, 2 Live Crew didn't know this until today, and I guess I'll tell the story. So Mr. Mix is actually Air Force, and that's the reason why they allowed the interview, because basically what happened when I was announced Wiener Talk, they didn't like that I was being announced and they weren't there. And for me, it wasn't about me, right? I was off work. I wasn't interviewing. You know me, Amelia. I'll dress crazy when, it's not interview related, and, I'll be professional or
we have fun.
You get me.
Yes.
So that was not one of these times.
Yes.
So I was dressed like slutty Captain America. I'll admit it. I'll show pictures in a second. And so I wasn't supposed to do any interviews. I was supposed to just be in row 1 watching this amazing cage fight in Louisiana because my guests had invited me, and I had invited other veterans as well. And unfortunately, that station, what they did was they pre-recorded a track looking for me. And so I embarrassed myself in front of 8,000 people because they were pretending to look for me. Brandy, where are you? Brandy. And I'm literally trying to find the source of the feed everywhere in the ring, right? And no one knows where it is. And they thought it was very funny. And I was very angry and upset. And I was having a panic attack because public humiliation is a trigger of mine. And the director of everything, Deanna Sheree from Bad Habits Organization, I'll give her shout out. She saw what had happened. She goes, "Oh no, not on my watch. This isn't happening." And she's like, "You're going to interview everybody." I was like, "I'm having a low-key panic attack. I don't think I can interview anybody." And yeah, no, I had to interview everybody. And so I interviewed 2 Live Crew, and I interviewed the boxing commissioner and the for the state of Louisiana and the fight coordinator as well. But he was at that fight, and it was funny because we were talking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, I was the one dressed up like slutty Captain America," and he immediately knew who I was.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
that was a crazy night. Ricky Folsey's a great guy. After the Mission was a good organization. I hate that they're not running hard anymore, but he's hurricane work, right? So
Absolutely.
I really respect that guy, and that was a great party too.
Yeah. The after party was amazing.
Yeah,
like
that was amazing.
and 2 Live Crew actually performed twice. The second performance, they donated all their post-show proceeds to homeless veterans in the state of Louisiana, which they had my absolute respect for doing something like that, because that was something he was trying to expand on himself.
It was a little surreal at that age to see 2 Live Crew when we were there.
Right? Like I was trying to behave.
They were really good. Don't get me wrong. They were great. But yeah, it was weird seeing them at that age.
Hearing them sing the songs they sang, and then I was like, I got to get into it. And then I knew my friend was the director recording everything, and I was like, no, I can't, because she's gonna get me. And yeah, like when I lost it when they hit Hoochie Mama the second time, I was like, oh, I gotta do it. But it's a small military, even outside of it. I think that's what I learned.
And now we run into each other years later. So
I know. I still can't get over to the fact that you knew exactly who I was when I said
yeah, that one burned in. But
I was amused.
Oh gosh.
But really though,
Randy, I can't wait to interview you one day.
Oh yeah, she's got some stories.
She knows. Poor Amelia.
This is the good stuff though, right?
Right. No, but it's definitely been a journey. We've got plans to do a lot more stuff. Taking over this ranch is going to be great. We're not going to really be a rescue anymore, but we are going to have some training out here for vets. We're going to do some service dog. We brought in Cash Axe Maker y'all probably heard of Axe Maker Ranch in Bandera. She's just a premier trainer, and she's going to be doing some of our training with the dogs too. We're really excited. And we're also going to open up this facility because one of the big problems in the service dog community, it's money, right? It's always money. And a lot of these, because of the way the service dog laws are written, there is no governing agency. There's the ADA that has law, but there's really any government agency that'll certify a service dog in the United States of America. And they leave the law that way because it's so hard to change it without excluding somebody. Yep. So the big problem is a lot of people can't afford training for dogs. Right? So we're going to open up this facility, and we're going to allow trainers to actually utilize this for the business as well, some that we've had. In return for allowing them to use this ranch to do that, they're going to be required to train service dogs, not just the dogs. That's another big breakdown. A lot of people get dogs and they have some training, but they don't spend any time with the trainer. Right. And I do want to help you to answer the question that she asked me about your dog. Absolutely. I would love to work with you and your animal. I love working with
Dexter.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to meet Dexter. And the thing is, the dogs really train the dogs at this point. Our dogs, we put them with your dogs, and it's just tit for tat. And then we show you how to actually handle them. Right, because it's just how to speak dog. That's really what it is. It's not them really learning what we tell them to do. It's us learning to communicate. Yes. And see, these dogs, they pick up on emotion, chemical, voice tone, all these things. And once you get that bond, and once you spend the time and really understand what they're doing, kind of like Lincoln coming up. He came up. I told the Billy story. He knows I get upset. Give me a little love, and then when he knows I'm okay, they do that naturally, right? But then it's training us to really, really work with them. It's a different kind of life, right? Having a service dog. I used to joke with people that still do, and it's not an insult against LGBTQ or anything like that. But I tell people, getting a service dog is kind of like coming out of the closet, except now you have a 4-legged barking wagon billboard that says, "Ask me about my issues." And because you got a cute dog, doesn't matter the says. It wouldn't matter if you held signs out, "Leave me alone." People love dogs. That's actually part of our program. At least my theory. I love all dogs, and y'all can beat me up later for saying this, but I don't train ugly dogs. And when I say that, is I train very striking animals if I can find them that actually meet the criteria, because I want my people when they go in public to be so uncomfortable. I am not trying to make them comfortable. No, I want people to approach them. I want them to bother them. I want them to drive nuts for a while, because eventually, you know what they start doing? These quiet, withdrawn people, they start realizing people are not going to touch it. Well, some people are going to try. Others just see a pretty dog and they start communicating again, right? And we tell people our dogs are free. There actually is a prize. We've never said it out loud online, but I told Brandy about it. So generally after we train a dog, and we've stuck to veterans, we've done some stuff outside. I'm the only one that gets seen on the internet. Guys, there's other vets that help us out. There's a lot of non-vets that train dogs and give them to people, with our help. They just don't like the attention. I'm sure everybody on this call or on this podcast can understand why. So, about a year and a half, sometimes 2 years later, and of course the rec put a hiccup in doing it. Typically they get another dog. Actually, this is the prize, and we don't do it to everybody because they can't handle it. But typically we bring back them another half-trained dog. Don't get me wrong, this dog's got all the tools, but they get to tether it to the one we already trained, spend some time with us. Then they got to spend about 6 months to a year with that animal. Then they got to find someone to tear their heart out and give that dog to. See, that's the thing. That's how we built this whole deal, right? Is empathy is one of the hardest things for the dark mind, right? It is. Vets, firefighters, heck, many, many people that have nothing to do with that kind of service. Empathy becomes hard for us because, to quote one of my Marine buddies, Alamon, he lost a dog that I trained to him. It was a horrible accident after he'd already lost another service dog before a hurricane in his home. And I remember when he called me and he had to tell me that dog I loved so much that I'd given to him died. And it wasn't that long after he had her. And I said, I trained another dog. And I said, you're just so quiet. I mean, you okay? And he said, James, I've seen a lot of death, right? I've seen a lot of death. And that's what I mean. When you get to that point, it's not that you don't care about people, but that there's a stop point. Our goal is we can't fix that. I honestly don't think at this time PTSD can be healed. Right. Right. But what we can do is we can teach them, right, to care. Right. And that kind of act, a gift from the heart, there is no greater gift in the world. And it's hard. People ask me, how many dogs you love away? Man, I cry like a little baby every time. I do. They're my kids. So that's our program, really. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just a guy that had been doing this a long time and went through his own trials. And I could be wrong about a lot of stuff, but I will tell you what, it seems to work, So there you go. It's not complicated.
And so, brother, what would you say are some things that are commonly misunderstood about PTSD?
I tell you what, I am.
Commonly misunderstood. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Sorry, what'd you say, Brandy? I'm sorry.
No, I was just asking what do you feel are commonly misunderstood items or things about PTSD?
Well, there's the obvious that it's only for vets, of course, right? How about severity of PTSD? Here's one for you. I hear that a lot. Combat vets have the most severe PTSD. We're just the example that's out front, right? You know what the worst, most severe type of PTSD is? Do you know who would have it? A woman that's been raped.
Yes,
and I'm pretty sure. Right. A man that's been raped's next, right? But what about the kid who loses his parents, watches them die in a car accident? I would believe that his PTSD is probably as severe as the combat vet from Afghanistan. See, that's the thing is we really shouldn't set a bar there, right? And that's a misconception too, is something tragic had to happen to you. What if some of these people, they just got stuck in a place of fight or flight, right? Could have been verbal abuse. That's how sensitive, and everybody reacts to it differently. And the thing that we all used to laugh at the most and a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I don't care. The kid in basic training that loses, you know what, that breaks down. How about that one? How about the one we joke about all the time? Because I know I've done it, right? Now, I'm not going to say that everybody was being for real. I understand some people fake that stuff. But some people, especially what we talked about earlier, what they went to prior to that, right? And then they get into basic, and that happens, and they break down. Then we see them at the VA, and we're all a little bit mad because, rightly so in some ways, I understand that. I know how it feels. But that kid that we ignore and we ridicule, and he's not a vet and he's not that. We took his contract. He passed all the tests, or she, and they're one of ours. And we're responsible for that too. The greatest thing this country makes is not a weapon, or not a truck, not a car, not a motorcycle. It is a weapon. It's a weapon that will kill without almost questioning it. We know how to arm it. It's necessary. I'm proud of our military. Matter of fact, if you ask me, train them harder. Keep them alive. I mean it. Drop back to the 50s. I mean, let's get real. I like Pete Hegseth and his theory behind that. Let's get back to military, although we got to be responsible with this because we do not know how to disarm these people when they come home. We don't. And, we have no real process still for it. Not that works. Anyway, that one. I think those are the big ones for me.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You were going to ask me something a minute ago when Brandon asked that.
You mentioned. Oh, I don't remember what it was, but it's okay. I've got a different question for you that I'm thinking about now. You mentioned the and James, I'm gonna have to connect with you. We're gonna have to have some chats because I can see so many different things that we got to chat about this. Absolutely. We need to chat, and I need some questions answered about Dexter too.
I knew it.
But what does yes, you knew it. What are the requirements or qualifications needed for a service dog, and how is it different for an ESA versus a service dog? Because I know that given what we talked about earlier, there's not really big governance in that area. Right. There's ADA guidelines, but
sure,
VA operates on different guidelines.
That's a great question. This is one that a lot of people confuse. So service animals. Now, first of all, I got to laugh a little bit because I watch the news and I've seen everything called from an alligator at this point that I think went to a Mets game to chickens to the truth is the only two animals that can be a service animal are a dog, believe it or not, a miniature horse. Right. They use miniature horses. They're actually house trained. They use them with autistic children for all kinds of stuff. And I've interacted with a few of them. In some cases, they're just as smart or smarter than dogs. But those are the only two animals. Service animals are different than emotional support animals. Service animals are protected by federal guidelines. They can go anywhere the general public can go. And that means anywhere the general public can go. They cannot go in food preparation areas, nor can you in a restaurant, right? You don't have a food handler license. They can even go up in ICUs unless there's a reason they shouldn't. And there are reasons they shouldn't, depending on the ICU. They can be taken in ambulances unless they impede saving the person's life. They actually have to. Service dogs have all the rights. You can't ask a service dog handler for an ID or paperwork or, believe it or not, service dogs do not even have to be labeled or wear a vest. And in many cases, the ADA says you do not have to use a leash because it can cause a tripping hazard, although the animal has to be in total control. Of course, a lot of people know the questions, is it a service animal? What's the animal service? I mean, that's all true. Emotional support animals, and let me start off by saying something. Before I go into this, there's a lot of dogs out there that we think are fake dogs. And I really want people to understand that in many situations, the little purse dogs you see that drive me crazy, actually, a lot of times those could be a diabetic dog that need to be in the breathing area. They don't need that training, right? So they get confused a lot because of situations like that and because people abuse the service dog law. ESAs are a totally different story. One, they do not have all the rights of a service dog. They do require paperwork. You can ask. HIPAA protects them from saying why they have them. Okay. But it's just a totally different ball game. They can even be refused, even if they have all the things, they can still be refused at the door. That's the big difference right there, day and night. And emotional support animals, to be honest with you, they're very necessary in many situations, psychological, even physical recovery when they're just trying to get right and they need that support. I personally think that they should tighten up the ESU laws, because I think they promote a lot of abuse as well, right? I'll be honest. Look, if it came between my dogs and having a roof, I would straight up lie. I would. To get a house, absolutely. Oh, I'd lie all day about my dogs if they weren't service dogs, but I would never take them in public and bring them around in public where they could potentially harm someone or get harmed, right? Untrained dogs, people that don't know how to handle them, they make it real hard for people like us. They do. And yeah. So that's a very hot topic you're talking about. So thank you for that.
I have some more data I'll share with you. I've done some research.
Sure. Hit us with it. Yes. Come on.
You ready?
I'll
Go for it.
you when we chat, because I already it was a knowledge drop.
From offline.
I was ready.
Got him ready for nothing. So, what's James for Vets?
I got more for you later. Don't worry.
What's that?
So, what is James for Vets, and how is it helping veterans?
Man, James for Vets. I'm proud of this one. My buddy JD Hutchins actually designed this. James for Vets connects veterans to service dogs. James for Vets also connects people to other options for health, right? They connect them directly to me, too. We've got a network of several hundred different places across the United States that we can call and get people help. And it gives them a direct line to us, right? They can actually go on it, and there's a bot on there they can talk to as well. And that way, if they don't want to interact, even if they're having a hard night, AI is amazing. And this particular bot is programmed with my personality. We spend extensive time. So if they feel it's hard sometimes to talk to someone, right, and let that stuff out, they can talk to them a little bit, and then hopefully they'll hit the button and ask for me or one of my people. James for Vets is going to encapsulate everything about Dancing Dog Kennels, what we do. It's going to eventually connect all these organizations together is my dream, so that we have a network of shared veteran organizations. See, like the VA service dog program is a good example. They don't supply dogs. Matter of fact, the system's quite confusing, quite frustrating, and the qualifications, I'm not going to get into the stories that I know are factual and otherwise, but I will tell you many veterans that I know walked away because it's just as hard getting the benefits, right? And even after, if you get through it, and I think it's a great program in essence. I mean, they pay for medical, they pay for equipment and food, but there is no training. There is no dog. And that's why these grassroots organizations like us are so
you have to have certain certifications.
Right. Well, that's the thing is, and there is no certifications. I mean, you understand there are some amazing service dog organizations that can do certifications and tests, and it's all, but none of it is legal. I mean, as far as it does not set any. So I mean, where do they go? Right. And money, do y'all really know what a dog trainer can run per hour? I know dog trainers that make over 150 an hour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they're worth it, 50, 75. But I mean, a service dog people always ask me, what are your dogs worth? I don't know what's 2 years of my life, 24 hours a day. Right. Right. That's why they're so expensive. So it's hard.
Yeah. Definitely not easy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think maybe we should just make a law. Everybody should have one. Everybody, every U.S. citizen. That would solve all these problems.
You're not wrong. There'd be a whole lot more dogs and flights. I'm saying
it would help a lot.
I mean, we do have several million pit bulls that we need to get adopted. Just saying.
Aww.
Be careful. Be careful. I'll be bringing y'all dogs.
I have to fight hot dog first. I don't know.
And really, anybody that's watching this, if y'all truthfully need a service animal, or if you have an animal you're thinking of making a service animal, or you just don't know what to do about a service animal, nobody's gonna try to sell you anything, or hit me up on James for Vets. Okay, we can help you. We can get one in front of you. We can educate you. There's so many things we can do that won't cost you money. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rescue resident says they have 4 Dachshunds.
4 Dachshunds. Well, that's actually one of my favorite breeds. Dachshunds. I'm not a little dog person, but I don't see Dachshunds.
I want to support Wiener.
Oh, you have to support Wiener. I mean, yes, I probably shouldn't support Wiener, but I will support Dachshunds. No, those little hunters, man.
See, like the combat vest and everything.
Give me just say it.
Good thing I can say whatever I want here, and I love it.
Hey, look, I was nice. I mean, I went with the freedom shirt instead of my size matter shirt. I was trying to be appropriate tonight.
I was expecting the size matter shirt. Like I was like, what army shenanigans are we going to see today? Like that was my.
No, I figured I'd be general the first time.
Second time.
That's right. That's when we get
noted. And so I'm going to go. I'm good at that. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video really quick about the house, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, please do.
Right. Yeah. But why is it? I had it ready a second ago. What's that?
Cereal from his hospital room. KENS 5 and Methodist Children's Hospital are continuing his mission.
Our other top story, a San Antonio veteran who trains and gives service dogs to other veterans for free now needs help of his own. A major crash destroyed his home and his truck. KENS 5's Rania Kaur has his story and how the community can help.
Next to his service dog Crowley and his service dog in training Link is where San Antonio veteran James Dickerson thrives.
What we're doing in the veteran community, that's what's important.
His successful Facebook page, Crowley Dickerson Through the Eyes of a Service Dog, has 2,500 followers. But Dickerson is most known for training service dogs and giving them to veterans for free.
I mean, I've got everybody from New Zealand to Korea, that I communicate with, and everybody gets something out of it. Whether you're a veteran, I've never met a person who isn't broken in some way.
But when coming back from a road trip on November 26th, Dickerson was checking on a flat tire near Lake Charles, Louisiana, when a mobile home crashed into his RV.
The world just exploded. When we went down, we had the RV between us and I-10. When we got up, there was nothing between us and I-10. It came right over the top of us.
The dogs inside the truck.
To be honest, I thought my dogs were dead. They were cut up from the glass, pretty good and banged up. I'm sure the airbags deploying knocked them around a lot, but they were alive.
Currently, Dickerson is staying in an Airbnb in Hondo.
I've dealt with things of this nature. I mean, I've been a PTSD vet for a long time, and it really sucks to feel this way again. This intensity.
There is a GoFundMe to try to help him get back on his feet. This time of year, he does roofing and construction work, helping people repair from hurricanes. That's how he's able to give the dogs to veterans for free.
There's a lot of families literally that won't get covered up right now. I just can't work. So That's one of the hardest things for me right now. I feel like I'm letting everybody down.
But Dickerson is trying to keep his spirits high and looking at what's next.
What's come of all this is the realization that I really was hurt, and it matters, and we're making an impact, and it's time to let people through the door.
And once again, there is a GoFundMe to help James Dickerson get back on his feet. That link is on our website, kens5.com. From the newsroom, Rania Kaur, Kens 5.
I haven't watched that. I don't think I've seen that since it played that Christmas right after the wreck. And man, y'all can see how big I was and how unhealthy I was too. And I was still patched up. And man, that's weird to see that now. Oh, I was lost. I thought this mission was over. I'm honestly, I did. I thought it was done. I was ready to, after a year and a half of sitting in my RV healing, I'd pretty much given up. I actually called out to the VA towards the end of it. And I'm just now, my shoulder's still on the mend. But I actually went back into VA therapy because I was fine. 4 walls and RV. I had family, I had friends. But it was something I thought it was over to people see it in that video where I was.
Well, you've come a long way since then.
Oh yeah, a long way. My health is good. I'm barely a diabetic anymore. I'm still in VA treatment. I needed it. I still do. We all have our days. People pay me wrong. They read what I write, and I'm not bragging. I'm a good writer. I am, and I'm good at expressing and explaining how this stuff feels. But people think I'm healed. I'm not healed, not at all. I'm still the same guy. He's in here, right? Mm-hmm. I've just learned to regulate, is what I've done, and to be honest, that's why I kept helping people all that time. It was selfish in many, many ways, because after I wasn't sure whether I wanted to die or not, because you do get there, it's like, man, maybe I can. Helping people, that was my medicine, right? Look, I tried all the big ones. I smoked half the marijuana in California. Probably Colorado too, giving it hell. And it was a fun time doing it. But no, it did not cure me. Funny enough, it didn't cure me, but I'm willing to try it again.
But no. I bet you sure as hell didn't mind what was going on at the time.
No, I talk about marijuana therapy all the time to people. I believe in it. I believe in the psychedelic.
We're not gonna roast you.
I think for some people, eating those mushrooms is great. If it worked for me, I'd be out, like grazing in the woods looking for them.
Skipping through your meadows right now.
Right. And I've looked, they're not there. There's a lot of
I'm going to mention my head that won't go away.
Magic mushrooms, but the truth is there's no magic cure, and maybe there is. Maybe they'll find it. There's things that can help, right? But I don't talk about healing a lot. I talk about surviving because that's where it's got to start, right? You have to survive first, right? In this world's kind of tough to survive in. Eventually, it's going to get us anyway, right? So these days, I just look for joy in every place I can. And when I'm pissed off, which is still quite often. So, I'm still me. I just find a patch of woods out on the ranch to go hide in for a little while, play with my dogs. So, right. But
Lincoln's so adorable too. I was thankful I got to meet you and Crowley and Lincoln this week or yesterday actually.
Yeah, it was a blast hanging out with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to hang out with them. I think I petted Lincoln for a solid 5 hours.
Got to walk around the ranch and see it some.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Diana and Jeff did something real special here, and we're so proud to carry it forward. So I'm not sure how it's all going to happen yet. We've kind of put it in God's hands. I'm not overly worried about it. We figure we've got a year. We'll do the book launch in October. Not supposed to say that one yet. Sorry, Andy. So the book's coming out in October, apparently, since I already leaked it out.
I was like, I didn't leak that.
We've got about a year to get the ranch really back up on its feet before we can open it to vets. So he'll forgive me, But sorry, Andy. No, it'll be fine. But we've got big plans for this place. We really do, and we hope we make an impact. So
That's amazing.
yeah, if nothing else, we'll have a really pretty ranch to play on.
There you go. Yeah, that goat was taller than me. I'm pretty sure about that. Like standing, not like on its hind legs.
I don't know.
Why is that goat so big, man? Like,
so the story I got behind that is she found that goat. He just appeared after a storm. She knew nothing about goats, so she bottle fed it, and she has no idea how that goat. Guys, you got to see a picture of this goat. It's bigger.
He
than
fed
me.
that goat buttermilk. I have questions.
Yeah, it's back. It's like I've never seen a goat this big.
That goat literally
was
huge.
Yeah.
Easily almost twice this high as each of his dogs.
Yeah, we have a lot of
interesting. Big in my life.
We have a lot of interesting animals out here. We have miniature cows that are not miniature. Yeah, they were supposed to be. Apparently, they were bought as miniature cows. Oh, and by the way, we do not.
So you live on the funny farm. That's what you're telling me.
Well, I bet they were miniature when you bought them.
Yeah, we do not kill any animal of any kind. It's a rule of Miss Diane's on this ranch. So we're Texans, but they are named Laverne and Shirley. They are not miniature, and apparently they're my new pets forever. Oh yeah.
Yep. You better start figuring out what their favorite.
It's always good to have a Laverne and Shirley in your life.
Yeah, I figured y'all enjoy that. Yeah, Laverne and Shirley.
They're friendly.
Yeah. Got a couple 35 or 30-year-old paint horses that just wander the place.
They're beautiful too. Like they were just looking at me like, "Why are you here?" Like I was like,
we don't ride them; they just kind of hang out. You know, they do their thing. All the animals here, they just. This is like Diane's like the female Dr. Doolittle. I kid you not.
I believe that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. See, and James, I just want to remind you, your impact is huge because we're getting so many notes tonight about the impact that you've already had.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Just continue to keep up the work. Continue to keep it up because you're doing important and huge things.
Thank you.
Very.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
And brother, what did the wreck change for you personally?
Wreck changed everything for me. It changed my direction. It changed my mentality. To be honest with you, I've always had a hard time connecting with my family, even my direct family, my children. It's not that I didn't love them. I mean, we're real close, super close. I just grew up in a world where family was different. I like to tell people that I was raised by wolves. They weren't good wolves. They weren't bad wolves, but they acted accordingly, right? And, my childhood was full of love too, but at some point there was this disconnect, and I was just never up met that connection. But I will tell you this, since the wreck, I've never been closer to my family. Never. And I mean, never. The wreck changed my mentality about a lot of things. I don't want to get too far off into religion, of course, but I will tell you that there comes a point in your life where there's some things you can't deny. I'm no superhero, but I've thrown myself into death trying to die for decades, right? I mean, pulling a trigger, to be honest with you, that was never the issue. It was just the perception of leaving that way. One, I don't want to die. I can tell you that. I do not want to die. Life is too precious. My grandchildren are too precious, right? My kids are too precious. Doing this right now, helping people, that's beyond measure. But the wreck got me to a point where even though I always had faith, there's just some things after these crazy incidents happen, you cannot look at yourself in the mirror and say that does not exist. You just can't. And I hope I hope nobody throws a house at them, right? But I hope a lot of people come to that realization. This is a really, really fake, scary, just evil place at times. And human beings, I think one of the hardest things for veterans coming home is people saying thank you for your service and then turning around and being horrible to somebody. Just got off a horrible right in front of them, right? It's not just insulting. It's insulting on a level that I can't even explain. It enrages me. And since the wreck, to be honest, a lot of things that I like to preach about and talk about, but I wasn't living that way. That's different today. That's different. The weight loss was great, but just being alive and still being able to experience everything that I'm honored to, even this show, that's the real thing. I find excitement out of life now. I do. Before the wreck, I was just vanilla about everything already. I'm over it. I used to tell people I live in a special kind of hell. I don't want to kill myself because I don't want to do that to my family, but I damn sure don't want to be here. And you get trapped in that crack for decades and you don't know joy. You can't know love. You don't love yourself. I love myself. I'll tell you right now. I do. I really do. And I value myself. I'm never I don't think I'll ever be healed. And I don't think I ever want to be. It took a long time to get here. And if this is what being broken feels like, break me again. Right. I wouldn't change a thing. Right. Next time, up the size. Maybe we could do a 2-story next time. Right.
Speaking of 2 stories, James. So tell me, I mean, you've definitely brought a lot of laughter to this today. So how has humor affected you, or how do you use humor and what role does it have in survival for you?
It is part of survival. We take things too seriously. That victim mentality. I mean, we swim around in our own drama. Mm-hmm. And me personally, I'm the guy that'll laugh at a funeral. Yeah. It's not that I don't feel bad that my friend died. It's just I find humor in every bit of it because we're never going to survive anyway. And I think the things that we spend time on, especially our crowd, I hate to say it, I would call our veteran brother and sisters out. We're the best at it. We really are. I love sitting at the VA and listening to them talk. You got to laugh about it, man. Look, you have 2 decisions in this life. There's actually, the old saying, all you have to do is eat, poop, and pay tax. That's not true. You have the one decision in this life. You only get one. And we forget this. You can either live or you can either die. That's it. You have that power. Mm-hmm. And if you choose to die, you might want to get on with it. And I'm not trying to trigger anybody out, but you might want to get on with it. But if you're going to choose to live, living in hate and anger and hating yourself and everyone around and unloved, that's not the way to live. And I fight that every day, just like everybody else. I'm not Mr. Positivity. I walk out my doors most day, and usually the people see me first. They just expect they're going to hear a few swear words. I'm going to be mean, right? It takes me a little while. Coffee helps a little bit. But the truth is, I really, since the wreck, when I go in a store, I try to say hi to people and make them uncomfortable because we don't know how to receive kindness anymore. I try to talk to the people that you can tell they're just having their life. They're just wearing it, right? Yeah. I try to give them a compliment or just say hello, even if it makes them uncomfortable, right? Just let them know they're seen. Instead of just focusing on myself so much in the writing and hiding out behind my computer, I'm out in the world now, right? And I'm going to stay out there. We're going to touch some folks. That's what's changed. It's just, they say perception is reality. I'd like to say that's bullshit. Perception is, that whole perception reality, that's not reality. That's your reaction to emotional events, right? Reality is going out there and living in the world, interacting with human beings, right? And having real conversations. We have lost this sense of each other. And the wreck really brought it back to me. Let me ask you a question. How many people do you know that own a home and do not know their neighbors? My daughter's lived in a house for over 2 years. My son's had his for over 4. They couldn't tell you their neighbors' names. How sad is that? And that's where we're at as a nation, as a world right now. And until we start talking again, really talking about real things, we're not going to change. Yep. That's what changed, Brandy.
Well put. And
I had a lot of time healing to think about this stuff.
Yeah, one of our comments said that a quote from Shawshank Redemption: "Get busy living or get busy dying." And I'm a fan of Stephen King.
I love that movie. That is a great quote to live by. Get busy living or get busy dying.
I agree. Right. I agree. Stephen King doesn't do wrong in my eyes. Except some of the short stories. I had questions about how the guy turned into a beer can. Like, still questions. But yes, that's an excellent short story that they adapted. Michael Clark Duncan, I don't think like could have had a better role. Like that was
Right.
he could have had. And so where can veterans go to get more information on service dogs?
JamesForVets.com. And that's James for Vets or the number 4 or FOR, either one. Look, if they'll go to James for Vets and they don't have to use us, if we're not their flavor, I will find them someone to work with where they are. That's the whole purpose, guys. We just want to get them to where they can get the help or at least get the education.
Nice. And that is so important. And honestly, gatekeeping in the veteran community is something that's always frustrated me.
Right.
Because it's like, imagine what you could do if you linked all these veterans together and they were able to work or collaborate with other nonprofits. Like, imagine what kind of good we could impact upon the community.
We're also territorial, right?
Yeah.
I'm not territorial about this stuff. Look, use me, use someone else. Don't like us, call us names. It's okay. I'm still going to point you the right way. We connect people all over the place. I actually think that's our superpower, me and my buddies. We know a lot of people, doing the hurricane work actually gave us a vehicle all over the United States. It wasn't just hurricanes. We went everywhere to every kind of disaster. And we built a network. It's like Another Chance Rescue, Rockport Fulton, amazing organization. They send dogs all over the United States. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. And there's so many vets, just single people. Like there's no boy down in Aransas Pass, Texas. I do not know his name. He just opened up a one-man facility. He's training service dogs and giving them away. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's these people we need to connect and support. I mean, he's a one-man. How many resources can he really have? Right?
Absolutely. Not even that. The grassroots resources tend to be the most true to their mission, I found.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that all, are that way, but in my experience, that's why I like to work with newer organizations that maybe don't have some of the issues that I've seen in others.
I like to be more direct than you. It's the same reason we didn't take money. We knew if money got involved, somebody was going to steal. Somebody was going to misuse it. See, I can say
that part. Yeah, you said
that part. Yeah.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's the same reason. It's one of the big reasons that, and I'm not going to say this was the best thing. We've learned to open the door for people's help now, right? We've learned to let people in, and this is new for me, and it's hard to let people into my baby. But really, y'all know how vets are. Everybody's like, why didn't y'all do this? 501c3. We honestly didn't want the rest of you messing up our fun. We didn't want to follow rules. We didn't want all those hiccups. And if we knew we didn't involve money, well, we eliminated the problem. So and that's why we never did it. Right.
Yeah.
It's changed today. We can't keep going unless we become, we got to grow up to be adults, I guess.
I guess.
I struggle with that. I don't want to mature anymore. I really don't. That's the problem with the people that are in business with me and that even help me with this, the team, all my social media and everything we're doing. They literally know that I am so immature and I'm a child. And I literally tell them, well, that's your job. Don't even ask me to do that. I'm just going to do me. Right. I don't like it. And
this is my
anymore. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Jenny was saying that she commented that she knows all of her neighbors within 80 acres. I live on 40 and I only know the neighbors that their dogs keep peeing on my back tires.
Right.
Can you please have your Labradors stop urinating on my tires?
Maybe.
Pictures. Anyways, I try to be polite with my neighbors, but yeah, I'm still fairly new to the area. But it is time for a knowledge drop. All right, Amelia, hit us with it.
Thank you so much for me. Thank you. So actually, I did not even know that this conversation was going to go like this, and I am so thankful it did. But what I wanted to talk about tonight is why understanding VA data matters and why veterans deserve better. So I want to remind everyone tonight, knowledge, like we're sharing, it's not about creating fuss where none's needed. It's an essential aspect for the future, our brothers and sisters of the U.S. Armed Services. When we talk about VA trust scores. There's some data that's recently come out, right? There's been some VA trust scores that have come out. There's, they talk about access, performance. I just want to make sure that we know we're talking about people. These are not just numbers. These are people like James, like Brandy, like me, like Pacifica. It's your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your family, friends, all of us, loved ones. But the truth is this: most veterans in this country never show up in the VA's data. I'm going to hit you with some facts. Through the VA National Survey of Veterans in 2024, along with the Texas Veterans Commission Outreach Reports 23-25, it has been found that about 35% of veterans are enrolled in healthcare. And in Texas, just to put that into perspective for you, oh my goodness, Dexter loves the rub, sorry. Just to put it in perspective for you, in Texas, that's a very similar situation. So we have about 1.5 million veterans in the state of Texas. Do you want to guess how many actually utilize the VA services?
250,000.
33% approximately.
Wow.
It's actually 500,000. Wow. It's 33% roughly.
Not nearly enough.
66% do not use VA benefits.
And considering Texas, especially San Antonio, is like the military medical hub.
Yeah.
Wow, that number really shocks me. Yeah. Right. Wow.
Yes. So that's why I love the data, right? So I'm not just pulling this just because this is really important, but that's the key thing there, is that the majority of veterans are invisible in the very systems that are meant to serve us.
Right.
And if we're not continuing to take part in interacting and making it better for the future, it's not going to be better like it was made for us. And so the number one reason, though, across nation and Texas that veterans don't apply for benefits is because they say that they did not know they were eligible.
Yep.
With that, that's not a veteran failure. That's a system designed failure. Okay. Yes. There's a lot of silos. There's a lot of different stuff. And so I'm just going to share with you, before I even knew I'd be doing the peer work that I do today, I spent years studying statistics. I did advanced stats. I did research methodology under Dr. Brian Porter. He's one of my favorite professors that I ever worked with. I was able to help collect data for his research with the Commonwealth of Virginia. So the experience really taught me some foundational items. Data, it can tell the truth, or it can tell a story. Yeah. Those two things are not always the same. And so when you're looking at VA reports, and this is not a slam on the VA, but when you're looking at the data presented, I urge you to look at all the data, not just what is put in front of you. I urge you to dig into it, because I want you to see there might be high trust records being reported. 82%, I think, is the percentage they reported of high trust. But I want you to recognize that those surveys only include, not even all 35% of the veterans that go to the VA or utilize the VA out of all of us veterans. That only includes those of us who do not ignore their surveys, don't have complex medical issues, or just discard it. Those are the people who actually complete it. Yeah, I know, right? I'm guilty of it too.
They literally just called me today, and I ignored that call. Yeah.
Oh no!
I mean,
yes. Yeah. Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the thing, right? And so when
what's important that they get their funding?
I mean, and we're all guilty of it. We're all human. Okay, there's no harm, no foul.
I had one of my veteran buddies actually look at me when I denied one a few days ago. He's like, "You need to take those," Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. I mean, it's for me, sometimes it's days a week. Sometimes it's how my emotions are rolling. Sometimes I know I can talk to him, and sometimes I'm not going to be able to right now. So I'll take that message or send to my healthy vet later. Hey, but it is what it is. But that's where the issue comes in, right? Women, rural veterans. Say again, Brandy.
Well, that's more important because of the fact that funding is based off of what it is that there's captured in the surveys. That's what justifies their funding. So if we're not showing up if we're not saying, hey, yes, I'm a veteran. Yes, I use this care. Yes, I need to know more about X care. Like for me, prosthetics is an issue because the fact that everything is made for an 85-year-old woman or a dude. So, for me, that's something that I'm always trying to have them work on. And they've gotten some grants, but I still feel like it's mostly for dudes' legs. But either way, like, it's something that if there weren't surveys, if there weren't people coming back and saying, hey, yeah, we use this, that's what justifies their spending and their funding. So if we're not showing up, especially as women veterans, because only 18% of us or so actually use our VA benefits like we're supposed to. And so they're basing all their funding and all their quotas and stuff off this 18%. But imagine if the other 82% showed up and said, hey, I'm here too. Like, I actually would like to report these things. What kind of change could we impact as veterans?
Yes. Exactly. And that's exactly the point of tonight's knowledge drop, y'all. When we don't have the full picture from every single one of us, from those of us that are rural, from our women veterans, from our underserved populations, we don't get the full picture, and neither does anybody else. And we're really not doing anybody a service. And that's why I want to just bring to the forefront that incomplete data leads to incomplete solutions. And that's why the Sentinels Collective exists, right? And so it's not to tear down the VA. It's not to slander anyone, okay? We're here to honor the full truth, the good, the bad, the systemic gaps, and that continue to fail veterans and their families because they're not being identified, like Brandy was mentioning, that because they're not being raised to the forefront, because it is difficult and it's a hard task. It takes a lot. I know.
It's like hurting cats dealing with it.
But here's a solution that I want to bring to the table. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. I would say, let's show up. Let's show up. Let's stand up. Let's start utilizing our voices. Let's look into the data. Let's not just take it for what it is on the surface. Like we've talked about tonight, ask that person who's in the store how they're doing. Extend that kindness, not just to your veterans, but everyone around us, because these issues that we deal with in the VA system, they do affect us heavily. And like James made a really good point earlier, we're a great population to be able to shine a huge light on, but our civilian counterparts are dealing with a lot of the same on the other side of healthcare. And if we don't ever talk about it, nothing will change. And so it's so huge to bring these conversations and these things to the table. And so I want to just share with you, I'm always going to speak truth backed by data. I'm going to do my best to do that because that's what I believe in. But our veterans, we definitely deserve systems that reflect our reality and not the optics that we want to see. And when every veteran is counted, that means all of us show up and put our voices together. That means that every veteran coming behind us can finally be served with the dignity that we have all earned. That's tonight's knowledge drop, and thank you for your time for letting me share that.
That was really good. Yeah, that was really, really, really. I'll take the survey too. I promise.
Now I gotta do the survey too because you said it.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
Really, you do more work. No, it is important. We definitely need to stand up. And like I tell a lot of veterans when I'm reviewing the records, and they always tell me, well, what if they said no? And I always say, well, what if they said yes? How would that impact your life? A no is a no, but that yes could change everything. So take a bet on yourself and just, apply yourself, put yourself out there, even though you feel that, I've done this a million times or they're going to say this, they might not. And always give yourself that chance and that grace.
Right.
And so I know that we've gone a bit over. James, we could have easily had on for 2 or 3 podcasts. No question. But no, what we're going to do is we're going to go around for our final thoughts. But what we'll do instead is if you had advice to give to a veteran that's going through it or is in a low place mentally, what advice would you give? So we'll go ahead and start with Amelia.
Oh, I'm not giving advice.
All right.
I will not give advice. But what I will say is things that have helped me. Oh, I'm not done.
Oh, all right. Go
things that have helped me. I have gotten outside. I have made sure that I am grateful every single day. I have been intentional about my daily start to my day so that whether it's my coffee or my walk outside with Dex in the backyard, I have those things in place every single day. And that has been a life changer for me in being able to move into a very different position than where I've been before.
Yes. And you're doing all kinds of stuff always. I love it. I'll piggyback a little bit off of what Amelia said. So Rosie the Riveter, my Shiro May Crier, she always talks about her 3 G's: get up, get dressed, and get going. Yeah. And those are her 3 that she lives by even now, and she's 100. Like, she literally just emailed me today and was like, yeah, I got to mow my grass, and I really don't want to pull the weeds, but I got to do my 3 G's. And she's like so set on that riding lawnmower, and now she's got paparazzi taking pictures of her on the lawnmower. So it's weird for her, but no, it's, sometimes it's hard. And, especially when you're in a low mental place, like you have no energy to do things. But I challenge you to find one thing, even if it's a small thing, and do that. Even if it's something small, like make your bed. Even if it's something small, like, do something that you've been putting off for a bit. You would be amazed what you can get done by just those little steps. Even if you fall on your face, you are still moving forward. So that was mine. Good. Go for it, James.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I agree with both of you. For me, I break it down a little bit simpler. I agree with Rose, all y'all. Look, it's simple, guys. It's simply complicated. Routines are everything. Especially, those of us coming from the military, that's why they taught us. Routines are everything, and that's how you have to start. But you got to find your pack. For me, I relate everything back to the dog pack because we're tribal beings. And this separation, this isolation, this caving up that we do, that's what kills us. You got to find your pack. If you don't have support about people around you, the dog's great. But if you do not have a circle, if you do not have a tribe, you will fail, period. That's my advice. Find your pack. Set your routine. Start it every day and get out there and find your pack. If you can't find them, find me. My number's on there. My personal number's on the page too. And I answer. If you don't have, I'm being serious. You don't have friends, reach out to me, man. We'll find you some cats to hang out with. So, absolutely.
It's okay to be weird. So are we all. At least me.
I don't know if I was telling Brandy I said, look, we're all someone that hadn't been broken. I don't think we'd get along. Be weird. Be stupid. I am.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. And the last comment, God didn't design us to live alone.
I have the most fun being me.
God did not design us to live alone. That's a great one.
Yep.
For the longest time, all I wanted in this life was to be like everyone else and normal. I didn't want to be different. I just didn't want people to point at me and call me a monster anymore. Like that was like my own goal, and now I do all these things, and it's just like, everyone's like, how did you do it? I'm like, I don't know. And it's just, put yourself out there in one step in front of another, and you'd be amazed where you find yourself. Like if someone would have told me that I was going to be doing this, I wouldn't have believed any of it.
I once wrote a story on Facebook about a dog, and I got to tell you, yeah, you're exactly right. You never know. So things can change. Put yourself out there, be human and be good to each other. That's the secret to life. Just don't be such a, I'm watching that language tonight. Don't be such a jerk to each other. We'll do the R-rated version the next episode when James gets to talk like James.
Trust me, we have many types of podcasts on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
There's like hidden ones, there's the noir ones, there's like the we behave ones,
There's an 84-year-old lady in there that's really smiling because she knows I had to restrain myself for this. She's like, she's
so sweet. I love Diane.
Diane's great.
I'll give her a hug for us. But we're going to go ahead and close it up. And if anyone has any additional questions, please reach out to jamesforvets.com. If you have questions about a podcast, if there's a specific type of thing you would like us to specifically talk about as far as alternative medical treatments or questions you might have, reach out to our podcast. We're always happy to help. And as much as I don't want to say it, the only stupid question is one not asked. I know there's a Marine that's going to prove me wrong. However, no, at the end of the day, you know, if you've got questions, ask. You know, I'm not a subject matter expert in everything, but I do know a lot of people that do a lot of things. So I'd be happy to connect you the best way that I can. But we will go ahead and join you again next week. And have a good night, guys. We are Yes, I Am the Veteran. Take us away, Aurelia.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, veterans!